the desolate heart of the newly liberated town of Petrinja. Before the war, roughly half the population were Croats, half Serb. Now, amid the rubble, elements of the Croatian army which recaptured the town after the bitter battles of the weekend. For the past 4 years, a hardline core of Serbs controlled the town, part of the self-declared Republic of Krajina. Systematically, over that period, houses and shops belonging to Croats were ransacked and put to the torch. Sister Daria today returned to the waste ground which was the Catholic Church, totally demolished and bulldozed by extremists among the Orthodox Serbs. After an absence of 4 years, she found that someone had put a small crucifix where the church doors used to stand.
The sisters were here for 80 years. They had a children's home here, where they worked with the local people in the church and led a church choir. I feel delighted, despite the destruction. Even though we have nothing left, I still think we will rebuild it.
On one side of the road, old Croatian army comrades are reunited. On the other, an ambulance arrives in front of the Red Cross headquarters. Inside it, a man with shrapnel injuries in the leg, brought here from Glina, only liberated from the Serbs in the past few hours. A few miles down the road, a Croatian unit readies itself for the defense of the area should any remnants of the Krajina forces stage a late counterattack. Despite the news this morning that a surrender had been agreed under UN auspices, it's known that in this northern sector, Serb units are still at large. Most of the Croatian soldiers are local men, bitter about what went on here.
I would like to say that Croatian Serbs, Chetniks, are they're thieves. Okay, these houses you can see, we have the one that destroyed, it's Croatian house. The one that is not destroyed, it's Serb house. If you can understand that.
All around proof of the impressive firepower of the Croatian army, which built itself up from the ill-equipped force which stood little chance against the might of the former Yugoslav People's Army in 1991. In just 3 days, the tables were decisively turned. Still hard to absorb is the remarkable and decisive efficiency of the Croatian offensive. Not only was a vast amount of territory taken back with breathtaking speed, but the myth of Serbian invincibility was quite literally smashed to pieces. The tragic other side of the equation is the growing refugee exodus. There are now anything up to 250,000 Krajina Serb civilians heading east, most of them now in Serb-held Bosnian territory. Every military advance in the Yugoslav wars of the past 4 years has been accompanied by massive movements of non-combatants. Both in Croatia and in Bosnia, significant changes in the battle lines on the ground are accompanied by changes in the ethnic makeup of the regions affected, with all the human misery that involves.
The past few months have been quite difficult in terms of new displacement. It's probably the worst period since early spring of '93, or perhaps even earlier. We had the displacement from Western Slavonia, of Serbs from Western Slavonia in early May. Then we had the clean sweep, pretty much, of the eastern enclaves in Bosnia-Herzegovina, with put another almost 40,000 people on the run. And now we've got this, so it certainly is quite a big crisis.
Unlike last month's Muslim refugees from Srebrenica and Žepa, who were bussed out under duress with few belongings, these refugees had time to pack cars, trailers and horse carts. That would seem to confirm reports that civilians had been told early on by their leaders they should prepare to leave before they were driven out by the Croatian forces. It's a charge the victorious army denies. The Croatians' enemies have struck back in the past 24 hours. In Osijek, near the eastern Slavonia sector, the only part of the country still under undisputed Serb control, there was renewed shelling last night. And planes which had taken off from the Bosnian Serb-held airfield near Banja Luka this morning bombed 4 Croatian towns. In one, they were reported to have hit a chemicals factory, leading to accusations from Zagreb that the Serbs were engaging in ecological warfare. But tonight the Croatian government declared it had won the Krajina offensive and claimed that the entire balance of power in the Balkans had now changed.
Well, for the last 4 years, sir, international community, including our friends that have been supportive and guiding us in many of our decisions, believed in a myth that has been built that Yugoslav army before or Serbian army today is something that's unbeatable, and in negotiating with them we have to accept their terms. This has proven different, and I think put them in different negotiating position.
In the newly liberated regions of Croatia, the sequence of lightning victories has ensured that the morale of the triumphant army makes it a new formidable power to be reckoned with. It's too early to say how it will alter the fortunes of the war continuing in Bosnia, but it's certain that the weeks and months following the fall of Krajina will show the emergence of a totally different military and political structure. Gabi Rado, Channel 4 News, newly liberated Croatia.